Welcome back, everyone, to Scenario 7 F1 Podcast. I am Ryan.
I'm Corey.
We got some fun stuff for you today. So, Saudi Arabian Gran Prix finished up this past weekend, so we can talk about that. Got some news topics to mention. We've also got more Saudi Arabian food to try, so another potluck like we did last week.
And then we got some more driving to do. So
That's
you can
right.
see, maybe I can beat Ryan this week, and then we will kind of wrap it all up at the end and see how we do.
Yeah, so if you like what you see, please like and subscribe, comment if you want.
Yeah, if you have any other ideas that we can do, we definitely have some more ideas for the future. But if you have anything else you'd like to see, let us know, and we'll definitely add it to the list.
That's right. Want to try some food?
Yeah.
All right. And we're here on the couch. So we're doing potluck again.
Yeah, not as crazy as last time. We went all out. Now this time we cooked about a 5-minute meal, and I brought a drink.
Well, let's start with the drink. So what'd you make?
Saudi champagne.
Good.
So, essentially, it's apple slices, orange slices, lemon that I forgot, because I guess the theme of the potluck is one ingredient that I forget, because I forgot the peas last time. Mint, kind of infused in apple juice, and then you put a little bit of seltzer water in there, stir it all up, and you get this overly orange-smelling drink for it being apple juice soaked in apples.
You're worried that it's going to be orange infused. I need to point out that last week when I made my drink, you asked me if it was alcoholic, and I said no, and you were very disappointed.
This is non-alcoholic.
But yours is non-alcoholic as well.
Well, they're doing Ramadan right now, and they don't drink alcohol in Ramadan.
I didn't realize we were
Culturally
observing.
Appropriate, and I have a drink over there. So.
All right.
Cheers.
Cheers.
That's really good. I like it.
That is good.
That's not nearly as orangey as it smells.
It's not. And we also didn't infuse it as long as it probably could have.
We could have infused it with the White Claw rather than the seltzer one.
Well, I was mainly thinking about like the because it's almost like a sangria kind of thing, where like all of your fruit ingredients sit in the liquid, and that probably could have sat for like a day or two.
They said it could have sat for a day
Yeah.
if you wanted more infused flavors, but I forgot we were doing this until you texted me 4 hours ago. So, yeah, it's really good. I
like
really want to try that. Really bad, the food.
It's really good. Mine is.
If you want to Google this, it's Saudi champagne.
Saudi
I'm pretty sure it's a
champagne.
real shitty. What was I just gonna say? It's a real bad translation, but that's what they call it on Google.
So I made masaoub, which is it's a dessert dish. I gotta get the save the whipped cream until right before we serve it.
That's the proper technique for whatever this is called.
It called for cream and not like whipped cream. Yeah, well, you know, it called for cream.
Okay.
Hey, dig in, man. So it's like a smashed banana that's been sautéed with sugar and a little bit of flour and then some cinnamon on top.
Yeah. Can we eat it?
Yes. It's obviously not as warm as it would have been. But at least it's fresh this week.
That's really good. I don't like banana, but that tastes really good. Okay. What's it called again?
Masaoub. Apologize for any mispronunciations. M-A-S-O-U-B.
Yeah, bear with us if we're too white to say the name. But bananas, brown sugar, sautéed with cream, but we're using whipped cream.
Yep.
And Ryan's hand is the table.
Close enough. Close enough.
Australia will be a little bit better. So,
You know,
the issue with this compared to our last dish is it's all the same food.
it's all Saudi Arabia.
It's all Middle Eastern.
Yeah.
So all the dishes were exactly the same. So nothing really
I
exciting.
think we both kind of struggled to find food that was not chicken and rice with cardamom and saffron and the same ingredients. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's why I picked that. That's why he picked this.
Yep.
And that's our food. But we got some cool things coming up for after this. We got the news in a minute. We got blindfolded driving, and I think next week we are doing the trivia. We'll have Tara. We'll have Tara get some questions for us, and we'll eat some disgusting Harry Potter stuff that I bought at Party City.
Well, then I guess it's time for the news. Welcome back to the table. We got our drinks now. Our food is
It's time for the news, and the first question I have is, who is imploding more, Alpine or Red Bull?
Well, that's an easy one to answer.
That's actually not the first thing on my news thing, but I know you had a list that you want to go over, so what do you got?
My list isn't too big. I mean, my first thing and probably the biggest thing I want to talk about is
So good.
Ollie Behrman. Because how can we not talk about Ollie Behrman, right?
So, yeah, came in, didn't even have a quality practice because he wasn't even there for FP2. He qualifies on pole for Formula 2, which
yes.
did you watch?
I watched the sprint race.
Sprint race was okay. The actual feature race was phenomenal.
I didn't get to watch the feature race. I meant to, but I didn't get the time to. But I at least got to watch the sprint race, so I knew that he was actually pole for the feature race.
Qualifies pole, has FP3, and then just misses Q3 by I think it was 0.03.
It was 0.036 seconds
by Hamilton, who's taking his potential or future spot, 3-4 years from now. But he drove an awesome race. So one of the videos I was watching today, it showed his race pace, and once he finally passed whoever he was stuck behind, I think it was one of the Haas cars, I forget. But his race pace was like not far off of Leclerc's, which for your first time. And the one thing I want to bring up, I can't think of a track that would be more
it's one it's one of the hardest. Did you see? There's a really interesting side by side of the dent from his head bashing against it.
They added extra padding for him, and by the end of the race, he's literally just leaning his head up because he's not going to have the neck muscle for that. My neck would snap after one freaking lap.
And it's the longest race he's ever done. I mean, he's used to F2, F3. They don't race as long, so 50 laps on Saudi is. That's the thing. It's one of the hardest tracks on the
I can't think of a more physically demanding track you can do, right? Like there's hot tracks like Singapore and Qatar, but like this one's literally just high speed. You've
got 27 turns, right? 27.
Sure.
You got 27 turns. I'm gonna run with it, and most of it is like Sector 1 is just one giant chicane. Like you're just going back and forth the entire time.
Track.
Ferrari actually said apparently the people in the pit, the garage, were talking about how when Sainz had said, "I can't do this," they were like, "All right, just keep the car in the garage." Like they didn't think that anybody would really be able to handle it.
Yeah.
I'm thinking, well, what's the point of a reserve driver if you're not going to actually put somebody in the car and be the reserve? But dude, like amazing race. Finished 7th. Towards the end of the race, he actually said, I think it was lap 42. He came on the radio and said, How long until Norris can catch up to me? And he said, about 4 laps.
And he didn't really catch up.
And he didn't catch up. Norris was 4 seconds behind. They told him 4 laps, which would have been lap 46. At the end of the race, Norris was still 2.5 seconds behind him.
Yeah, they didn't really make any progress on him. He did really well.
Amazing job.
So this is going to screw up all of Ferrari's development plan, because I would assume that they would probably expect him to win F2, or at least be one of the top contenders for F2, because he is a big name. He's one of the only names I recognize, and he's Kimi Antonelli's part. He was the guy I was talking about the first week, where I was like, it's the only 2 names I really recognize.
Yep.
Then they'd probably move him to Haas, because Sauber's not going to be a Ferrari affiliate anymore, because they're going to Audi.
They're going to Audi.
So give him 2 or 3 years at
Haas, and then try to pull him
Haas.
up.
But now he's proven he's a real contender. Like, they're going to have to do something with him now. And they can't move him to Ferrari for a little bit. Hamilton's going to be there for at least 2 years. You obviously want him to develop, but is there going to be another Piastri situation?
I'm not signing for you guys.
Well, so think about it though, because who's not going to want this kid?
I know.
Like he has. I can't picture anything. I haven't seen that much talent. I mean, even Piastri didn't do that great.
They could pull him into Sauber next year, because Audi doesn't come into play until 2026. So they could pull him into
a single year. Just get him in the Haas, get rid of Magnussen. Honestly, that's kind of.
Well, I figure Magnussen and Hulkenberg are both going to be gone at the end of the season anyway. I feel like anybody who goes to Haas is just going into a black hole.
It's definitely development. Actually, no, that's Sauber. Yeah, they kind of are.
Right. Like I'd rather see him.
Well, I mean, hey, their race pace was astronomically.
It was better. A lot better this week.
Astronomically better than it's ever been. They got points. They're the 6th team to get points.
They did. And this is a good segue, because I wanted to talk about Haas as well. It was a sticking point. Well, I just wanted to mention Magnussen real quick, and because he is now the victim of the newly restructured penalties.
Yeah, it's actually
10-second penalties instead of 5 seconds.
Which, thank God.
And I had one of my coworkers who's also into F1 was talking about how he thought the second penalty was stupid because he barely went off the track and overtook Tsunoda, but he passed him in the turn. I was like, but he didn't, because making the turn is also part of the move.
Yeah, you have to stay within
he passed him before the turn in the braking zone, but he was going too
he
hot.
braked too late.
Right, he broke too late and then went off the track. That's the whole point. Like he didn't complete the
only addition I'd like to make to that is you have to serve that within X amount of laps. That way they're a lot more cautious about making these. If you do screw up, give the place back. We saw Piastri do it a couple times with I think it was it Russell or Hamilton, whoever he was.
Well, I think it was both Russell. No, with Hamilton. Russell was a little further up.
I mean, 2 or 3 times he gave the place back, and I would like to see them have to serve that 10 seconds within the next amount of laps. But I am very, very happy they made it 10. That way, it actually means something.
Yeah, it's a meaningful. It means even more in the middle of the field. But like 10 seconds per penalty is an actual meaningful penalty.
Yeah, it's a big penalty if you're
5.
in the Haas. So, shit. Well, I guess.
What else you got?
Well, my first thing was there's a new Brit driving for Ferrari, and no, it's not Hamilton. But
I guess I broke that, huh?
Should have read that first.
4 British drivers finished in the top 10 for the first time since like the 1960s or something.
They were all consecutively placed too at one point.
They didn't finish consecutively.
No, they didn't finish, but they all were at one point. So Christian Horner's accuser, speaking of Red Bull and Alpine and all that, Christian Horner's accuser, which I told you not to bring up because I don't know who that is, is now suspended by Red Bull, and she's taking the matter to court for a civil lawsuit. I don't know if you knew that.
I did. Well, she brought that up actually a couple of weeks ago.
Okay.
In England.
It's new news to me and the viewers.
The one thing is, and I guess someone can correct me. I mean, I was looking at this. I didn't dive into research to figure out if it was all true, but I read that the woman it is Horner's former assistant and Jos Verstappen's significant other,
which makes a lot of sense
because Jos Verstappen was not allowed in the garage this weekend.
Yeah, but he shouldn't be.
He should. No, I agree. He shouldn't be at all. He's way too involved in Max's career to begin with. He's a former driver. I get it, but dude, just go in this. Go watch your son.
Just like Helmut Marko isn't an actual representation when he what's the word I'm looking for? He can't accurately speak for
Red Bull.
And thank God, because what did you say about Mexicans not too long ago? But so Christian, that makes a perfect amount of sense because I know there's almost 3 segments in Red Bull. So I know there's the Verstappens and Marko. There's the Dutch section, or maybe they're part of it. I was watching The Race, the other big podcast, YouTube videos, and then there's Horner's side. So it's Red Bull's almost split into 3 factions, if you will. So it makes sense that it was somebody on Verstappen's, one of their right-hand people, whatever you want to call it. But yeah, Helmut Marko's possible suspension, and the big thing on that is Verstappen didn't really seem to care if Horner went, but the second he found out that Marko might be leaving, and he found out right after the race, so it wasn't an opportunity for him to even think about a response to have.
Oh, this was
he was if Marko's gone, I'm gone. You better think about what you're doing. That's the biggest name in that
Marko's, I didn't think he'd be that loyal to Helmut Marko.
I don't think he'll actually leave when you're getting paid $50 million and you have the best car. But Verstappen also doesn't give a crap. So think about this. This isn't part of my notes. This is just off the cuff. Who's going to want Verstappen more? Mercedes is going to want him the most. They actually have a seat to offer.
I mean, everyone's going to want him.
Everyone's going to want him.
Who can pay him?
I know, but Mercedes can. So how much would you pay to see this? Ready? Mercedes is Verstappen and Russell. Ferrari is already Leclerc and Hamilton.
Yeah.
And then Red Bull could be Alonso and Perez. How much would you pay to see those 5, because, sorry, Perez, those 5 duking it out in the top cars? That would be a dream come true.
Well, right now,
2021 all over again.
Right now, Mercedes they were the 5th fastest car in Saudi Arabia. And when we talk about Aston, we're talking about Alonso, not Stroll.
Yeah, just like when we talk about Red Bull.
We talk about Verstappen and not Perez.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But, McLaren was pulling 3/4 to a full second on him in Sector 1 there in the high-speed corner.
Yeah.
It was just astronomical.
Yeah.
So I was reading about the Helmut Marko suspension. I was scrolling through Reddit, and one guy on Reddit said he's the kind of guy to go apeshit and leak so much more information once he's fired, like the Kelly Kapoor on The Office. So if they let him go, I thought that was funny.
We're gonna get the tell-all when Helmut Marko gets released.
I mean, he already says stuff he shouldn't. Imagine if he gets fired. He's just gonna let.
He's not gonna care anymore. All right, what else you got? Because I only have one other thing that I want to mention.
So I just have notes from qualifying and then the race, but we've kind of already. I mean, we all know Sainz had appendicitis. That's why we talked about Ali Behrman taking his place, and he did a great job.
Yep.
What else do I have in here? Every week there's just something else going on. It is very, very a good time to start a podcast because the world seems to be burning in some teams in F1. So I guess
like Alpine.
Yeah. So Hamilton's.
Yeah, they did so much better after they fired their.
So much better. Yeah, they're just imploding on their own. And what's funny about that is there's so many celebrities that invested in that team.
I know.
It's like out of all the teams to invest in, clearly you don't watch this. Like if you did, Alpine would be one of the last teams you ever watched. They've been a train wreck for years. That's or buy low, sell high.
I was gonna say maybe it was just one of the cheaper pits to buy into.
So I guess the only thing I have for qualifying is that Verstappen, just like usual, is in his own league. He beat Hamilton's 2021 pole time.
He literally said he was lonely, by the way, too. Like, he didn't... So,
he's always lonely.
The part that's boring to me about qualifying now, like, before, you go back a couple years, and, like...
2021 was good, because Red Bull wasn't as good as Mercedes, but he bridged the gap.
Right, you get to Q3, and you're like, oh, this is going to be exciting. Now we get to Q3, and like, meh.
It's
like,
5%.
Q1 and Q2 are more exciting than Q3 now. Because you don't have... Like, we go back to 2021, and you had Bottas and Hamilton... And
Bottas could out-qualify
you could even... Sometimes the Ferraris still were actually competing as well. So, like, but you had... The rocket ship? That was like back in 2019, 2020. Well, you at least had Hamilton, Bottas, and Verstappen that were all duking it out within like a tenth of a second of each other. On their very last lap as like time expired.
Yeah.
So you're like, ooh, who's going to get it? But now, like, Verstappen doesn't even do the final run anymore. He does one run at the beginning of Q3 and no one can catch that time.
Yeah.
There was literally a point...
Which gets him a little closer.
Yeah, like Horner came up with the radio, was like, congratulations, Max, that was a great drive. And he was like, yeah, it's a little lonely out here. Like, he literally said, I'm lonely. He's going to get bored in a couple years and just retire.
So I guess I don't have any notes on qualifying. The race, very impressed with the fitness of Ollie Behrman. We already talked about that. The last 10 laps was the only time I've ever rooted against McLaren because Behrman was like, I was like, dude, don't let Norris catch up. You gotta finish in 7th. Like, this is so cool. I already brought that up. Haas being the 16th score. RB not as quick as anybody anticipated.
No, and I'm a little disappointed right now in Ricardo because
that's my last note.
He's been out-qualified and outperformed by Tsunoda both.
Last note is I'm about to hop off the Ricardo hype train. I have been one of the last people clinging on.
Well, you know what?
Train
the next race is his home. It's his home race. So if he's going to perform anywhere, it's going to be Australia.
Yeah, but still, like...
No, they're not nearly as fast. Everyone was pegging them as like the dark horse, but they're not...
No, which is good because, they're not just full of crap and stealing everything from Red Bull, but you need to be beating Tsunoda. You were literally supposedly putting quali times a tenth of a second behind Max.
Yeah.
But you're getting beat by this, your teammate, every time in every segment. So I just looked at him in a lonely 19th, and it's tough. And I love Ricardo, I really do. Honey Badger's my boy, but it's tough. Hopefully I'll eat my words in 2 weeks' time or whenever they race in Australia.
Hopefully.
That's all I got for the news. I am ready.
I have one more thing.
He has one more.
I have one more thing, and this leads into our next episode or even beyond. Did you hear the news about Qiddiya?
Qiddiya.
So the Saudis, I don't know if this is actually ever going to happen because it's not even supposed to happen for like 10 years, and who knows if it's going to get built. Saudi Arabia proposed a new track.
No. So street tracks to me suck for the most part, and they have such a good one. It's like a proper track.
So that's what they're proposing is not a street track, but like a this stays here or this never goes anywhere. This is just a track.
Okay.
So I don't think it's going to happen because it looks insane. What are my computers doing?
Well, yeah, it's a render. They always look ridiculous.
Plus it's the Saudis, so they're just going to make it look as
they got that gas money. They can make
it as outrageous crazy as they possibly can.
Yeah, I mean, didn't they sign a soccer player for like $750 million for 1 year? That's pocket change for them.
So
that looks a lot. Oh yeah, I did see that. But how are they not going to fall off?
Well, yeah. So there is a gap. I don't know if you can really tell. There is like a decent runoff from where that turn is because it's turn 1. There is a decent runoff because where these cars are right now is not the track. The track's like back here. So like the track is all the way over here.
Oh.
So
okay.
there's a decent runoff before the edge.
Yeah, so there's an actual wall then.
Yes. Okay. But it's also 108 meters up. It's like a 20-story rise and then direct fall once you get around turn 1.
Do it.
But here's the thing, like I think it's insane. And I think like in a great way. I don't think it'll ever get built. But here's what I'm proposing. Because if you look at the aerial view, that is honestly a sick track.
It's a fantastic track.
That's really, really
cool. You have a big overtaking opportunity here. Potentially down here,
So
definitely.
it goes up this way. So this is turn 1.
So overtaking right here.
Yep.
Overtaking here and here. There's 3 good spots, and it has a little bit of everything.
It's a cool looking track. So here's my proposal. Because I don't think we were talking about this in the very first podcast, right? Tracks to get rid of, tracks to add, what we like about them, that kind of thing.
Add this.
I would love to add this just for the layout. Like, I don't care about the rise and fall and the 180 meter whatever. I just love the layout of the track. What I think we should do is compete, do a little competition. Doesn't necessarily need to be for like the next week or so, but I think we should make our own tracks.
Okay.
I think we should design our own tracks.
I'm just gonna draw me Jello.
Make it original, of course.
Yeah,
but I think we should design our own track and see what we come up with.
Okay. I'm totally down for that.
I think that would be fun, just to see if we can replicate. And I think it'll be a good indication of like what our favorite tracks are and what we like ourselves in a track. So
Okay.
I think that could be fun.
Yeah, let's do it. And then, I don't have anything. So yeah, I'm all for it. I was gonna say we'll have the viewers decide, but I don't know if we have any yet. So
Maybe at that point, who knows? But in the meantime, I think it's time to do some
racing.
driving around Saudi. All right, so I'm back in the chair doing Saudi Arabia.
Ryan, who are you gonna race like, Alonso or Stroll?
Well, I don't
you're
plan on
wearing
hitting the
Aston
wall, so I guess Alonso.
Okay,
Although if I do hit the wall, then
we'll find out.
we'll find out if I actually am Stroll or not. So we're gonna do Saudi Arabia backwards. This will not be blindfolded this time around.
Backwards and blindfolded would be a little bit difficult.
That'd be a nightmare. That's the 20-minute lap times. So we're gonna do a couple of practice laps. I think the best way to do this is for each of us to do the practice laps, and then like I do 2 practice laps, you do 2 practice laps, and then we do the real laps.
Oh, I thought you doing 2 practice and then your hot lap, and then me doing 2 practice, and a hot lap would be better because we have all the muscle memory and everything. So if you want to do your way, I'm fine. I just feel like that'd be harder.
That'd kind of be the point, right?
Okay.
It'd be more fun that way.
Yeah, we'll do it your way.
Be as accurate as you possibly can. All right, so now.
I would go all the way down past the first corner.
Oh yeah. Because then we can get the
Not
run.
that it matters. We're not gonna get the first turn. Fuck, we're not gonna nail the first turn.
I was gonna say like we're not gonna really know where we're going to some degree because it's not gonna have the turn line. It's not gonna have the braking line. Ugh.
That's actually not bad. I don't know this track well enough to know like what side. Actually, we do have a mini map.
Yeah, I was gonna say I'm kind of following the mini map just to know when I need to brake.
My confidence is going down, way down.
I don't know this track very well either, like in the grand scheme of things.
I don't know it that well either. These are 103.2
That
time.
That wasn't a lap though.
No, you're right. I just saw the line. I'll add these together.
Because I'm in sector 1.
Yep, you're right. I saw the sector line. I just. Alright, so now we're about to come up to it.
Yep.
I'll just add this and the last number together.
And you gotta restart it too. Or I can turn around. Then.
Just keep going. So you go to 244, 245.
244? Whoa, that was damn it. Oh, almost went to the pits. In the opposite direction.
So I did
Oh no! Go!
You were making good time too.
Was I really?
Yeah.
Ah! Ah!
Yeah, it's going against you.
Was I actually gonna beat my first lap?
Probably not.
Oh, okay.
But you never know.
You never know. Well, now I'm definitely not.
I wouldn't bet for it.
Alright. What'd I get?
You got a 216 that time.
So I was faster. You said I got a 244 the first time around.
Ooh, already locked up.
Good start. No, hold on. Wait, hold up. Fingerprint, thumbprint. Alright. Alright. Go for it.
Watch that, because every 30 seconds it's gonna.
I know, I realize that. I'm gonna have to like keep touching it. Alright, I'm gonna hit as close as I can.
Oh, I nailed that.
That was good. That's your first test.
Yeah, none of this matters, so I won't nail it when it counts. I should have checked where I actually braked. If it wasn't for that mini-map, though, if we do this again, we should take the mini-map off. Kind of cutting the corners here. Ooh, boy.
Yeah, this is the same thing I did.
That corner's a bitch. I really wanted to zoom or say something funny here, but I'm still concentrating so much.
Well, you're also making the turns like you're doing it in the right order.
Oh!
Oh!
There I go.
you got yourself on a thin part of the track too. You're gonna Austin Powers your way out of the turn. All right.
Let me change these back for you, because I'm a gentleman.
I still don't believe that my first lap was a 2:44. I think my first lap was faster. Either way, you still beat my times, though. Your first lap was a 1:41.9. Your second lap was a 1:52.4. No, I mean, considering you were like 13 seconds behind what they were pulling during the race. Solid steel. We're very heavy.
Shit.
You good?
No. I forgot about timing.
Did you get it
I
off?
wasn't even timing it last time.
Oh, well, it's good thing I didn't make it through that. Oh, that was
I
way...
totally forgot about the stopwatch. My bad. Alright, third time's a charm. I thought I was going to get it out in time, and I couldn't.
I'm practicing this corner, but it's just in the wrong direction. Or the right direction.
Oh, fuck me, that was funny. I'm on it this time. I promise.
Alright.
That was the best exit you had, too.
I am curious if it would actually have helped. I think it did. Like, we're not, like, full on it, right? By the time you hit that the start marker.
I think so.
Oh, every time.
You're good. You just scare you pucker me up every time you take that corner.
It hits me a little bit faster. I'm trying to find the curb, and it just hits it for, like, the last second.
So you're much better at this part than I am.
Yeah, but you're better at the other part than I am. Together we make a complete driver. Oh! Oh. Well, I mean, I parked it.
You're making a really good time too.
I don't think it's enough to beat you though.
I think it might have. I think it would have been just short if not though. 147.8. 147.8. It would have been close.
Damn.
I think it would have been like.
If it wasn't for that last little crash.
Like,
thumbprint. All right. 147.88 to beat.
ready?
Yep.
I don't know if I am.
Don't park yourself into the concrete like I did. I said don't.
Hang on. That doesn't count. I haven't started yet.
I mean, you haven't, technically.
I'm actually pretty nervous. All right. Got those with the mini map.
You got a nice little bump there back on the track. It's going to be close.
This is the part of the track where you gain on me, though. Oh, I got stuck. Did you see that? I was like skating
Yeah,
on
you like rode it like it was a skateboard. Oh, it's gonna be really close. I think you got me though. You got me.
How close was it?
You got 140.6. So that was actually faster than either of your times in the first go round.
Which is crazy. You saw, like, my wheel was literally like this, and I just wasn't moving.
Yeah, you skated over the curb. Well, Corey beat me this week. Final times, I had a 147.8.
Yep.
And you were a 140.6. If I hadn't crashed, man, around that last turn.
We're gonna look at the
close.
times. We're gonna add up how much time that costed them, and we're gonna figure out how close it would have been had it not been for that crash. But finally tied it up 1-1. We have some good ideas for tiebreakers next week.
We got 2 weeks in Australia.
Yeah,
so
2 weeks. If you were somewhat
week-
observant, you might know what we're doing.
next week we're off, no race, so we'll be back in 2 weeks for Australia. We'll have some more fun stuff planned. So if you like what you're seeing, please comment, like, subscribe, and
We'll see you in 2 weeks.
see you then.
Sorry, I just wanted to be a part of that.
Oh, the beauty of filmmaking.